Another Senator Dinniman mentioned Dave Dolby. I'd like to mention he was from Oaks, Pennsylvania, and a very good, very strong guy, a good wrestler in high school, enlisted in the Army and served in my unit, the 1st Cavalry Division. He was a machine gunner and did some similar things that I did. He knocked out some machine gun bunkers and earned the Medal of Honor. He went back to Vietnam 3 more times and stayed there a total of 4 years, and came back and suffered from post-traumatic stress, a very debilitating, I want to say a disease, a very debilitating malady that many veterans shared. But one thing he did, he would, living here in this area, he would take and pick up Sister Veronica from her retirement center and bring her to work at the Freedoms Foundation. And he did that for many, many years, and he would pick her up and take her back home. And just an outstanding veteran and very, very patriotic. And he loved the Freedoms Foundation and the Medal of Honor Grove. He died in 2010 and is buried at Arlington. And I gave him my last, or his last salute at Arlington in 2010. Sister Veronica is a legend in herself, in her own times, and she spent 17 years here working with the Medal of Honor recipients and the Freedoms Foundation. We had our convention here in the 90s, our Medal of Honor convention down in the city. We took a bus up here and visited the Grove and Sister Veronica that entire day, for one entire day of our convention, to be with Sister Veronica in the Medal of Honor Grove. And there are only 77 living recipients now of the 3,500. And each state has the names on the obelisk in their acre. We used to ask our fellow recipients, how's your tree doing? Because in each recipient would have a tree, or have our plaque in front of one of the trees. And some of us would have to say that our tree's dead and fell down. But they've replaced many of those trees, and they will continue to do that. Now, New York had the most recipients because of the Civil War. Pennsylvania is second. We have about 378 recipients. Many of them were from the Civil War, which is the only medal we had in the Civil War. And there's one female recipient from the Civil War, Mary Walker. The Army refused to take her, so she volunteered as a contract surgeon with an Ohio regiment and served many years, and was captured and was a prisoner of war for a few months before she was exchanged for some Southern soldiers and returned. But she was a legend in her own time. But our recipients are a cross-section of America, all races and religions. As Senator Dinniman mentioned to you, we've had 4 chaplains from the Civil War, and 5 more from, 1 from World War II, 1 from Korea, and 3 from our war in Vietnam, of the 259 recipients from the Vietnam War. As Wally said, it's primarily a posthumous award. About 60% their families receive it. And so it's very special to be one of the living recipients, and we have to be very careful. What we do will make the news. If I go out and get a speeding ticket or get a DWI, which I haven't done yet, that's news. One of our recipients was suffering from post-traumatic stress and robbed, went out in Detroit and robbed a liquor store and was shot dead. And that made national news. So we have to, you know, someone said it's harder to wear the medal than it is to earn it. We have to set the example for our young troops and our young citizens of America. But I just want to thank you all for being here. This is a very special place. My son spent a year here He was racing motorcycles and went down in 2007 and spent a year recovering at Bryn Mawr. So we would come up and stay with my daughter in Westchester and be his cheerleaders for his recovery. And he's now doing great. He's not racing motorcycles anymore, but this is a great area, and maybe one day my wife will let us come back here and retire. She's a native of North Carolina, so we went to her hometown down in North Carolina. And I love both states, and I love America. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.